Hey everyone, Reid of Valor. And the purpose of this video, we're going to talk about natural rights and really what the role of government is in people's lives. And I think that if we're going to move forward to more free individuals in this society, that we need to have a truly monumental shift in our thought process. Let's go ahead and get started. You know, one thing that I always enjoyed as a teacher, as somebody that educated people on the principles of what our nation is and always was designed to be, is this not just idea, but it's a fundamental truth of what our country is and what our government is and what we as individual men and women in this country is, and what we understand and expect to be protected and upheld by not only our government, but our institutions. And that's this idea of natural rights. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is not a theory. This is not something that's just an idea. This is the fundamental backbone of our nation. This is what is listed explicitly in our foundational charter of governance, the Declaration of Independence. And what we have to understand is that the only reason and the only rationale or justification for our government existing is to protect our natural rights. That's the right to life, the right to liberty, the pursuit of happiness, right to property is what John Locke was referring to. Well, we have to transform our expectation and our understanding of government. We have to look at what government is. Government is not a lord or a master over us. If we delve into the Declaration of Independence, then you'll find that governments are instituted amongst men in order to protect our natural rights, our inalienable rights, the rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And government's only role is to protect those rights. It's to secure those rights. That's why governments are brought into existence. So this is not a generational thing here. You know, there are people of many, many different generations who view the government in a different light. I've seen people older than me, much older than me, where if you would even question the government, you're like some treasonous, hateful person against the United States, or to disagree with taxation, you're somehow some commie or whatever they want to, whatever delusional world of control that they live in. I've seen the people in a younger generation, you know, the millennials, you know, their thing is, you know, they grew up during the presidency of Obama. I can tell you guys that the trajectory that this country is going towards, especially in the last couple of years, is people value safety over freedom. A lot of people do. And it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing how people live in this state of a perpetual boogeyman, of something that's going to get you out there, that you need government to watch out for you, and that they need to be your daddy, and that they need to be your protector. It's a state of arrested development in which, you know, all the ills of the world can be solved by some overbearing parent. That's a very wrong mentality as an American. A true American is somebody that values limited government. And an American is somebody that values individual liberty. You know, a real American is somebody that values that and understands that the world can be a dangerous place, but that's part of being an adult, of going out there and facing these issues, facing these problems. And by the way, the vast majority of the time, we don't need government at all in order to solve these problems. There's very, very little that the free market cannot solve. So the mentality that we need to develop as Americans is government is our servant. We tell them what to do. They don't tell us what to do. Their mentality sometimes gets very off. And I'm looking at the state of being in this country. I'm looking at people's ideas on government in a very concerned manner, because there are so many people out there that want bigger government, that want more government control over our lives, that want to infringe upon the rights of their fellow Americans. And that's a very disturbing trend, but I'm not going to say it's a new trend. It's not a new trend. We had people with that same mentality before. We've had people in the past that had that same mentality in this country. They're called Tories. They were people that were loyal to the Crown of Britain. They wanted heavy-handed government. They wanted their fellow colonists to be ground into the millstone of taxation. They wanted people's rights taken away. They wanted their arms and ammunition confiscated by the crown. They wanted all these things back then. So it's not a new phenomenon. And I think people think, oh man, I can't believe this. People don't believe in freedom and people don't believe in this. That's got to be a younger generation thing. It's not. This mentality is independent of generations. This whole idea has been around for a very long time. And unfortunately, over time in American history, it's led to a clash of arms on more than one occasion. So I don't see that we're special. I don't see that we're different than our ancestors. I don't see that we're more enlightened or smarter. I don't believe that that's the case. I think human nature is what it is. And human nature is that there will always be those who seek to control others. And eventually that conflict comes to a head when you have diametrically opposed visions of what a place should be. And when compromise no longer becomes possible, I don't know what the compromise would be at this point because we've already lost so much freedom over the decades. I don't know what compromise means other than giving up more individual liberty, giving up more firearms, giving up more religious freedom, giving up more freedom of speech, giving up more ability to do with your property as you see fit. You can't go out here unless you play this little, game. That's not compromise. That's conceding more and more freedom, and that's not the point of America. The point of America is to restrict government. The point of America is to empower individuals with freedom. That's what America is. And the vision of other people is that they want to do the opposite. They want to grow government and then make the individual less free for the sake of safety. I think that when you find yourself in a conversation with those that just are so diametrically opposed to what the American nation is, individual freedom, limited government, that's not even negotiable. I mean, that's not even debatable as to whether or not that's the case. When you find people in that mentality that they can't accept people have freedom, they can't accept people have property rights, they can't accept people have a right to keep and bear arms, they cannot accept the people have a right to go worship, they can't accept the fact people can say certain things, and they think just because they're offended that you shouldn't be allowed to say that anymore. That's not what free speech is. That's not what free speech, that's not what freedom is. That's called a collectivist mindset as opposed to an individualistic mindset. And this country was certainly designed around upholding the rights of the individual. If you found the information in the video helpful, subscribe to me and follow me on social media. That link is in the description box. And if you want to learn how to protect those rights, protect those freedoms, come on out to Valor Ridge and we can help you with that. It's Reid Henrichs of Valor Ridge reminding you, lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.